we should do a flamethrower. So we...
Does anybody tell you no? Does anybody go, Elon, maybe for yourself, but selling a flamethrower, the liabilities, all the people you're selling this device to, what kind of unhinged people are going to be buying a flamethrower in the first place? Do we really want to connect ourselves to all these potential arsonists?
Yeah, it's a terrible idea. Terrible. Shouldn't buy one. I said don't buy this flamethrower. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. That's what I said. But still, people bought it.
Yeah,
there's
they're not
nothing
gonna
I could
listen.
do to stop them.
If you
I
build
could
it,
not
they will
stop
come.
them. I said don't buy it. It's a bad idea.
How many did you make?
It's dangerous. It's wrong. Don't buy it. And still, people bought it. I just couldn't stop them.
How many did you make?
20,000.
Elon is the man.
He just doesn't care.
I told him it was a bad idea. I can't stop them.
How many did you make? It's like, here's the thing. He's like, I didn't expect people to buy it, but I made 20,000 of them.
Exactly.
Like, come on.
I said don't buy it. It's a terrible idea.
It's a terrible
Can't
idea.
do anything to stop them.
But here's the link to the site. That's basically what it was.
Fantastic. I love him.
Yeah. Shall we start the show?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Strive Nation podcast, the podcast where we talk about the monotony of daily life. But hey, that's okay because we have flamethrowers. Just kidding. I am joined today with Taylor Huff, my fiance, for episode 8 and our double feature day. How are you doing today?
Ooh, I'm spectacular today.
Good.
I'm actually kind of tired, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's been a long week. The last couple of weeks, and that is why we have a double feature for you releasing today. We're talking about Elon Musk and Netflix's Return to Space documentary, as well as just Elon Musk in general, because he's always in the news, especially right now. And then right after, don't leave after this episode is done, because we also have your monthly scoop.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so let's get into it. Beveragino of choice, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a good old-fashioned cold brew to get some caffeine in my system.
Well, there you go. I mean, especially with all the allergens.
Yes. So I took an allergy pill about 45 minutes ago, and I think it kicked in, but I need to override its effectiveness of making me tired by drinking caffeine.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So we're going to try this.
So how's your cold brew?
It is beautiful. It's what my dreams are made of. It's
Well,
a nice little...
Little hot mess cup, like normal.
Per usual. What are you drinking, sir?
Well, I am drinking Mill Creek Brewing's Little Darlin'. It's a citrus-infused wheat beer. That is actually not bad. I don't know where you got it, but it is good.
Ooh.
Yeah. So here's your pap. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Ooh, that was satisfying.
Yeah, I know. It's always satisfying. That's the only way. That's the only way we do here.
Oh, that's not the direction I thought you're going in.
Oh, well, you thought I was going to make a sex joke, didn't you?
I did. It's kind of a missed opportunity, man.
You know, you're just going to have to wait for the next one.
Oh, darn. What's it
Yes.
taste like?
It tastes like a wheat beer, surprisingly. Crazy. I know.
Oh, that was such an original tasting notes you gave us. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes. I taste, it does hops and wheat and, yes, and it's wet.
The most
Indeed.
unhelpful tasting ever.
Yes.
What's the wheat beer taste like? Wheat beer.
Wheat tastes like wheat.
Let me taste.
There you go.
It does taste like a wheat beer. I think it finishes with like a little bit of orange.
Well, it does. It's citrus infused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
I like it.
But before we start the show, make sure that you go right now and follow on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Strive Nation Pod for all the coolest content on the internet. And for you visual people, head over to YouTube and smash the subscribe button and like every video to show that you care. But first,
Upvotes and downvotes.
Upvotes and downvotes. What is your upvote? Now, because we're releasing these on the same day, these are the upvotes for this week. We're not going to have upvotes again in the next double feature episode.
Thank
So,
goodness. I was really worried about
well,
having to come
I
up
know,
with all
it's
these
like-
things in my brain.
It's too much stuff for one day. I can't. My brain only works so fast.
Real kind of.
Okay. What is your upvote?
My upvote is yesterday. It was 85. Freaking beautiful. And I laid by a pool.
Yeah, you did. And you got sunburnt.
It's not burn.
Okay, sun.
I have very extreme sun tan lines right now.
It's my sun-kissed skin. Get
With
that nice
stark
nice
lines.
what is olive toned skin, not black like I say.
Yes. There you go. Look at you. We're learning.
Yeah.
We're developing.
Corey, you can't just call people black and Hispanic.
Well, unless they are, then obviously.
Hey man, I don't know. I just call it what it is.
We as a couple look so funny in the summer because I get so dark.
Yeah, that's because I'm a real life vampire.
And you just stay pale. It really amazes me how pale you stay.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, I'm actually so pale that if I get sun, I get blotches of redness. That's how pale it is.
You get
It's not even like a darkening of skin. It's just blotches of redness.
the only thing that darken are your freckles.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
your
that's
freckles just your body covered.
That's-
Or your tan's just your body covered in freckles.
That's the most olive toned I get.
Yeah.
My olive brazened freckles.
Oh my god. Okay.
Did you know something about my freckles? I don't even know if we talked about this on the podcast. A little weird, like tangent. But I used to play connect the dots with my freckles and draw on them.
Are you for real?
Yeah, because some of them have arrows and you can draw them. That's how many freckles I have. See them all?
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I used to draw and people were like, "Why did you?" And then I'd be like, "Because I'm crazy and I connect the dots by drawing on my skin."
Well, that's accurate.
Yeah, well, throw me in a straitjacket.
That's funny. What's your upvote?
My upvote is because we are talking about Elon Musk, the purveyor of free speech in America today.
Yeah.
I bought one share of Tesla.
Oh.
Not a partial. I bought one full share, baby. I feel like one of the little bougie people.
Do you feel like you're like rolling in the dough?
Yeah, I do. I could just wave that one share around.
Like you and Elon are BFFs now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. And I'm not an Elon maxi, guys, but I did buy one share of Tesla. So, what is your downvote?
You already touched on it, but my allergies. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like a month ago, I took Sudafed for 2 weeks straight because the weather was 45 degrees, 75 degrees, 32 degrees, 80 degrees. And I thought it was over, and now I just have allergies everywhere.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of insane.
Well, it's either I don't know. You're just a walking mess. Literally can't breathe,
I
can't
know.
walk properly.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, so we walked to the little shopette corner store to pick up some bread and eggs because we have no groceries right now. And I tripped out of nowhere and it went boom to the sidewalk so fast that Cory just looked at me like, where did you go? Like, what happened?
Yeah, she literally went down to the ground so quickly. Freaking ass out and everything.
I know, I was wearing a dress and I had on underwear, but I didn't have shorts on because I'm like, I'm just going to church. I don't need to have shorts on. I'm not being physical. And there was a couple right behind us and like they got full.
Yeah, they didn't say anything.
No, I'm sure the wife
Yeah.
had words as soon as they rounded the corner, but
The lesson learned here was when she goes down hard and fast.
oh yeah. Hey, bright side, I only broke 3 eggs.
That's it. Yeah, only
Yeah,
3 of her
I
eggs.
had a whole carton of eggs on me.
Doesn't matter anymore. They're in my stomach.
Yes, they are. What's your dumb vote?
My downvote is work and home life balance sucks right now, and that is why we're uploading 2 at once, because it's been remarkably stressful the last few weeks, and I'm trying to work through it. I gotta figure something out here. Possible changes to that soon, perhaps. We'll see. I don't know. Something's got to give, baby, because I can't keep going through this. It's purgatory of a work life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what's coming, but definitely my downvote.
You just got that one share of Tesla and, now you're feeling unstoppable. Like, you gotta quit your job. You gotta move to Texas.
Yeah, well,
You are Elon.
I gotta need a flamethrower.
Oh, God. Please don't. I know you will buy one if given the opportunity, so no.
Yeah, it's not as he would say, it's not a flamethrower. It's actually some sort of air horn with a blowtorch together. Some sort, not an air horn. I forget what he said, but it's actually not a flamethrower. He just liked calling it a flamethrower. All right, but we are talking about Elon Musk today. Lots of Elon Musk stuff going on, like a super lot.
He's always in the news. I feel like the past couple of weeks, it has just been all about Elon.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Elon Musk. Who is he? Why do people like him? Why do people hate him? Why he's been in the news. First of all, who is Elon Musk? So Elon Musk basically was kind of like a child prodigy since he was younger. He created a video game when he was 12. Sold the video game to a computer magazine. So he started like all this child prodigy stuff really young, and that's kind of, it exponentially started blowing up from there, the stuff he started getting involved in. Because Elon Musk is a very, very passionate, driven person, and when enough passionate and driven and motivated person, when they're given enough resources, they start to eclipse everyone else around them.
I will also say that he also has Asperger's, which people who have Asperger's tend to be very intelligent, and then they also become hyper focused on projects. So I think that is something that has definitely contributed to Elon's success, is his Asperger syndrome.
Yeah. So he did come to America from South Africa after being unwilling to support the apartheid movement. He wanted to come to America because all of the things that America touts, economic freedom, all of that. So he did come to America.
There's a lot you can do here versus South Africa. Like, they're not like the greatest place to live.
Yeah, so that is the basics of Elon Musk. He started getting into things like PayPal, and then he started with SpaceX when he was much younger. But most people, when they talk about Elon Musk, it's basically his space endeavors.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Definitely. Everyone knows that he became successful via PayPal, and then SpaceX and the Boring Company as well. Yeah,
the Boring Company, all the roads he started to build throughout Los Angeles, all the cool boring cars and machines that would drive the tunnels.
Yeah.
All of the really cool tech equipment. He just really established a name for himself, synonymous with SpaceX and then eventually Tesla. You don't think of Tesla without Elon Musk.
Definitely not.
It's just an innovator, a businessman, an entrepreneur, someone that he's just kind of unlike anyone else. And I think that's why he rose to such heights.
Definitely.
Over the course of his career. And he's not a super young man anymore. So
how old is he now?
He's got to be
40s? No.
Actually 50s, he's
oh
early 50s. I think he is 51 actually.
Damn.
Yeah, so yeah. I mean that
makes sense.
It's been a long time, a long history. You have to realize that with SpaceX that he was working to basically resurrect America's space dreams over the course of like 20 years. It took like 2 decades to get these space dreams imagined of putting people in space. Eventually he's still with the goal of creating like some sort of civilization in space.
Yep.
And then obviously more recently getting people to the International Space Station, which is what the Return to Space on Netflix is basically about.
Yes.
Getting Bob Benke and Doug Hurley into space on that space station. And eventually more people.
From America.
From America, right.
So when the U.S. closed their space program, what we were doing is we were just shipping U.S. astronauts over to Russia, and they would board the Russian spacecrafts to get up to the International Space Station. So Elon was really passionate about resurrecting, the workings of NASA and our space program. And it was really important for him to have American astronauts taking off and going to space from the U.S. and not relying on Russia.
Well, I think he ties himself really closely to these accomplishments too, especially in the Return to Space documentary on Netflix. You can see how like stressed he was through all of these because they failed multiple times getting these rockets up. What is it, 3 attempts, and then they finally...
Yes.
Yeah, because they had it, and then...
That was just the first series of rockets.
Yeah.
It took them 3 separate rockets to just get one into outer space.
Into
unmanned.
Yeah, so it's been a long ride, 20 years, especially after the NASA was shut down. The big thing, Elon Musk, he's kind of a controversial figure. People either really, really like him or they really, really hate him. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I understand, I guess, both sides. I think the hate is probably a little bit unwarranted. But some of the reasons why people like him, SpaceX, they think it's really cool. Anyone who's into technology, SpaceX, Tesla, they're going to love the work that he does because people aren't pushing the boundaries like he is, and he's been a while. He's provided electric vehicles, Tesla, where I know a lot of people are really, really concerned about environmental impacts and things.
With the batteries having to mine those properties.
Exactly. So, like, obviously, Tesla is still the biggest contributor to electric vehicles. I don't think it's close still. I think it's still like
definitely
80%. It's like 75 or 80% of all electric vehicles still come from Tesla, even though like Ford and GE are trying, or not GE,
Honda, Toyota.
Is it GM or something? I don't know. There's another one. Is it Toyota? I'm not sure, but they're still trying. I think Ford, like they tried to allocate a whole bunch of funding towards electric, but it's not even in the shadow so far of Tesla still. So, and Teslas are cool. Like we drove in one.
They're really cool.
They're really neat. I don't know, the big screens, the doors, how fast, they're 0 to 60, stuff like that. It's really neat.
They really feel like you're sitting in the spaceship.
Yeah, I mean,
it's incredibly modernized.
Yeah,
completely different from any other car we have.
Yeah, it's like an experience riding in one or driving one.
Yeah,
I haven't driven one, just rode in one. Someday maybe, but it'd be kind of neat. I'm still a little weirded out by the whole electric vehicle idea because is it really that efficient? Because the electricity is still being burned, you still have to charge it, and how is that electricity being made by plants? Energy saving? I'm really not. I'm still on the train of nuclear is still the most efficient.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's still innovation. It's not an understatement to say that he genuinely cares about the technology. He is super, super passionate person, and he cares about the technology, and I think he genuinely cares about improving people's lives.
Definitely.
So I think that's a big part of it is that character and genuine passion comes through. So he's more likable because he's not trying to push a facade on anyone. This is him. He is, a prodigy. He's a very, very smart person. And he's not trying to fake anyone like on the news, or he's not trying to impress anyone. He does troll, and that's why some people don't like him. But he does it because he thinks it's funny, not because he's trying to get attention.
Oh, definitely,
That's, I think, the biggest misconception with him is people think he does things for attention. I don't think he cares. At all.
I really don't think he cares. I think what I have perceived from him by watching interviews and documentaries and seeing how he interacts with media and stuff is he's a genuinely really curious person. And so he really takes interest in the world and wants to better the world as a whole. And so I think he has really, really good intentions, but he also realizes along the way that he has to have some kind of fun and that he gets to be an own person on top of the fact if he wants to make the entire world better, and he's doing all these different crazy projects.
Yeah, I think it's less of he still can have fun or has to have fun. I just think that's the type of person he is. He likes to make jokes and things. And I don't think he's worried about what people are going to think if he makes it even an off-color joke, right? Because that is the world. The world's a horrible place, and we do our best to move through it, So I don't even think he's, doing it just because he feels like he has to.
Oh, definitely not.
That's his personality.
That's his personality. He wants to have fun.
Right.
And he's going to have it regardless what people think.
Yeah, I appreciate that he does stuff without caring what people think. Even if it's, we go look at it and go, bro, that's kind of off-color or something.
Yeah.
I just appreciate that he does stuff like that.
And I appreciate so much the fact that he does not apologize and he does not back down from things he's done in the past.
No, I mean, the amount of conviction that he has to say things, what he believes, is super strong. And that's why I think, people have paired him with the idea of free speech so recently is because, there is no consequences for him. He says what he believes, regardless of whether you like it or not. You don't have to agree.
Yeah.
But he's going to say it, and he's going to say what he believes. And I think that's why he, champions America so heavily.
Definitely.
He's also self-made. And I think people love a self-made
story.
Stories. Americans, the underdog who does everything they can to build a life for themselves and become super successful.
I mean, it's the American dream.
It's
That's
the
what
American
everyone
dream,
dreams
right?
about doing. And he moved here and he did it.
Yeah, go from someone who lived in South Africa to coming to America and now is then the richest man in the world. Mm-hmm. Even past Jeff Bezos. What is it, north of $300 billion net value?
Yeah.
So
Jeff Bezos got divorced and lost a lot of money, so.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it would have happened eventually anyways.
Oh, it definitely would have happened because he's still innovating, and Jeff Bezos is just like,
he's just
screw it, I'm rich off Amazon. Right. I don't really care anymore.
Right. So those are some of the reasons why people I feel like really like Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. I like him because I like him most probably because I like to watch him stick it to the man.
Yeah.
I just like the honesty, the truthfulness, regardless if it's the truth, someone speaking truth, doing their best to speak truth. I like that.
Yeah.
So, why do people dislike him? Do you know any reasons why people dislike him?
The only thing I know is that, like, people really dislike that he smokes weed. Like, him going on Rogan and smoking was the world's biggest ordeal for, like, a hot second. I think people don't like him because they don't understand him. They think, oh, you're such a successful business owner. You're the CEO of these companies. Like, you're on the board of directors. Like, you shouldn't be acting like this. Like, you should act very, like, PC and HR friendly. And you going on Joe Rogan's podcast and, like, smoking weed or, like, dropping the F-bomb is not something older generations who are, C-suite executives right now, they don't respect him for that kind of things.
Which is kind of shit because those same C-suites would do that in the privacy of their own home. They would never do it publicly.
Oh,
that's
exactly.
the problem. It's like these people virtue saying, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Elon Musk does it regardless because he's an open book to people.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, we should all condemn you for this and then behind the scenes go do this. He's an open book. And that's how a lot of ways he sticks to the man. He's like, they all are in his shadow. He gets away with doing whatever he wants because truth prevails, right?
Exactly.
Versus people who like try to sneak around and do things and then go behind your back and say, you should be doing this when they don't follow that. Like hypocrites, right?
Yeah.
And he's not a hypocrite, if anything. Yeah. And someone also who goes through so much turmoil. I mean, during some of those attempted rocket flights, like that's a lot of failure to overcome. So the amount of conviction is crazy. So he just doesn't care,
He also puts his money where his mouth is. He could be like a lot of other people who are super successful and just get funding and use other people's money. Each one of his projects that he's been a part of, he has dumped every penny he personally has had into these companies. Like Tesla, all his own money. He almost went bankrupt from Tesla because they're trying to get it up. And then it finally stood up on its own, but just barely before he went bankrupt. And same thing with SpaceX. He dumped all his money into it and literally has no money left. He's like, we have one more rocket to like figure something out and then end up being successful.
I mean, we're talking about a lot of wealth, but people dislike him because he's contributing to the wealth gap. People don't like rich millionaires, billionaires. They don't like him regardless if they're self-made. They think, oh, they should be paying more taxes. They're not paying their taxes. They should be contributing more. Look, people generally at that are disproportionately providing value than the average person.
Yes. They pay more in taxes. They contribute more to charities. I mean, like you said, they're providing more than the typical American does. Think about he moved all of the Tesla building, all of that to Texas where he was creating jobs for people. Almost everything for all of his companies are all U.S. made, And I mean, what he's done just for the U.S. space just for space travel in general, like having a reusable rocket, he's able to cut down the cost by $30,000 per launch.
Yeah.
And same with Teslas. Look at when they first came out to now, like they are slowly becoming even more affordable.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like he's not doing this stuff for attention. Like the guy has, if it's for the attention, it's there already. He's not doing it.
Yeah.
Like he's. He wouldn't have gone through all this SpaceX stuff, failing time after time. Mm-hmm. Like, through the failure, by the way, that's not good attention, and still keep trying. It has nothing to do with the attention. It's his own prowess, his own passion for the projects. And it's all his own money anyways. Like, what is the value of getting people into space other than providing a humanitarian future to people? Like, a humanitarian positive future for people.
Because
it's not good for him. I mean,
No.
If anything, he could be like, screw y'all, I'm going to go live on Mars by myself and not do it for anyone else.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Like, the other two people, like Jeff Bezos, and then I always forget the guy's name for the Virgin rockets, but they want to create commercialized space tourism. That is their number one goal. Those two people who are within the commercial space for aircraft specifically want to have, commercialized vacation spots, essentially.
Yeah, so they want the money.
They want the money versus Elon's like, no, the U.S. are the people who pioneered space travel. We should always be the ones pioneering. I want to help be a part of that mission and that goal and that legacy that we leave behind.
Right. Some other reasons why people don't like Elon Musk. He's been touted for speaking COVID-19 misinformation. I don't think that's necessarily true. These days, everyone who says anything common sense seems to be struck down with misinformation. A lot of people have expressed and voiced their opinions on the legitimacy of some of the vaccines and whether they work and some of the data and all that. Even the CDC struck down how many deaths? 200,000 deaths recently on like that they weren't actually COVID. He's just a big player with a lot of eyeballs on him. So if he says anything, people are gonna be like, ooh. And a lot of the leftists who look at anyone who doesn't go along with mask mandates and you're all gonna die from COVID outlook, they're not going to like him. And he was one of the people. Same thing with Joe Rogan. Yeah. Same thing with a lot of people who were like, maybe we should just step back and take a look. People aren't going to like him for that. But it's one of these things where rich billionaire has an idea. Other people, whether it's jealousy, whatever it may be, are not going to like him for a multitude of reasons. Some people didn't like him for the manipulation of the crypto market last year when he went on SNL with Dogecoin. A lot of people bought at the top, lost a lot of money.
Here's my thought. Was that intentional, or he truly didn't understand the influence that he had?
No, I mean, I don't think he cares, again. Regardless of what was going to happen, I don't think he cares.
But and then everyone came out against him, said that he was purposely manipulating the market. That I don't believe. I think he just said something really funny, and then people took it and used their own volition to go buy Dogecoin.
Yeah, it was a
that
joke.
wasn't his intent.
Look, here's my thing. If you're willing to dump a bunch of money that you're not willing to lose into something someone says, one person, on a comedy skit, you may want to rethink your rethink your decisions.
Yes.
You deserve to lose it, is what I'm telling you.
On a meme coin.
Yes, on a meme coin, no less, that has no utility.
On a meme coin.
You deserve to lose, especially with the whole meme coin, the Doge, and everything. I'm like, the guy's been sending out crypto tweets for like a year long now, swaying the market over and over. I don't think he's doing it intentionally. I think he says something, and if it's funny, it's funny. If it's not, it's not. And whatever happens, happens. But he's not intentionally doing it.
Yeah.
And I think you got to expect a little bit more from someone of that magnitude as well. Mm-hmm. You don't think he could, buy all of Twitter if he wanted to? Exactly. And then sell it to dump it?
If he wanted to manipulate the market,
he could do it any way he wants to.
There's a lot of other easier ways than him trying to tweet out or say things in hopes that people will follow something he says. If he wants to manipulate the markets, he's rich enough where he could just do it.
Right. Yeah. It's a little naive to believe that he doesn't know. He's not smart enough to know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that, but either way, crypto is extremely. It's immature right now. Anything could happen. So don't expect, your money to be safe in crypto. That's the biggest thing. Some of the other stuff, some stuff that maybe some people don't know or didn't follow along. He's said a lot of controversial stuff. Again, that goes with how honest he is. He just says what he thinks is funny. Comedians do it, and comedians have been nailed recently, especially the last 5 years. He said things like pronouns suck, tweeted out pronouns suck. Obviously, people started calling him transphobe, which I don't think he is. He doesn't have consequences for these things because people like him regardless. Mm-hmm. They either see through it. People are humans, whatever. It's like these days, someone says one thing and they're expected to be ruined forever from it, especially with doxing and social media. Yeah. And he's immune to that. He says whatever he wants and you don't have to like it. He doesn't care.
No.
You think this guy cares what you think. So anyways, that's why people don't like him. He's been accused of the mistreatment of his workers at Tesla and SpaceX.
What kind of allegations were there?
Just like overworking and things like that. There's a laundry list.
If you're working at some kind of a startup, you should probably just assume you're gonna get overworked because that's how all startups are.
Yeah.
Much less working at a startup where you're literally throwing people into outer space.
Yeah, something about like
I'm pretty sure you know what you're signing up for.
It's basically everything that you could any possible way you could mistreat your workers, like financially, work, like all of it.
But we don't talk about Nike employing children slaves in China to build their
with
tennis
Disney
shoes.
And stuff.
Okay.
Right.
Oh yeah, or Disney filming in the same region where Uyghur Muslims are put in camps.
Yeah.
So
literally every allegation, and then also to his girlfriend being abusive to her, physically, mentally, verbally.
They just had another kid together.
Yeah, I know. It's all BS. It's just people just throw anything to the wall and see what sticks, basically. Yeah. But those are the reasons people don't like Elon Musk and like Elon Musk. So a little bit about the Netflix's Return to Space. What did you think of it?
I really, really, really enjoyed it. It was cool to see. It was really cool to see how much they failed and how it was really interesting to see how the U.S. government ran space exploration versus someone who understands that we need to revolutionize something very quickly. Because in the documentary, they talk a lot about how NASA wanted everything to be absolutely perfect. They wanted to have all the answers. They wanted to have all the solutions before they did something. Versus SpaceX took a very different approach. They're like, we're just going to throw this up in the air and see what happens. And whatever breaks, we're going to fix those things. And we're going to keep doing it until nothing breaks.
Right. It was more a trial and error system from SpaceX. They try something. It doesn't work. They iterate, change things, and throw it up. And that's what science is.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, the fact that NASA and the government wouldn't do that, they wanted to know everything, proves kind of like how naive they were at the process. They weren't going to be able to do anything, first of all, because they've never done it. You can't nail something the first time without ever having done it in science. Yeah. You don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And you're willing to send people up into space without really knowing what you're getting into. And I think Elon Musk knows that. I mean, he's a scientist. The actual Return to Space documentary was directed by Jimmy Chin and Elizabeth Shai Versahili. I think that's close. I think they did a pretty good job. Yeah. I mean, it is Netflix, but they did a good job, I think. Like, a lot of information. And I liked how they had all of the, like, footage, too. And some early footage of Elon, too, when he's younger.
Oh, super early. It was cool to see.
Yeah, because for anyone who's not really an Elon Maxi or anything, if you don't know that stuff, it's cool to see him on the early days, you know? Mm-hmm. There's a part where he fails a whole bunch, and they think they're going to go bankrupt in SpaceX. Mm-hmm. And then he brings these other, like, board members in his room. And they think he's going to fire them. Yeah. And he doesn't. He just says, we need to build a rocket as fast as possible and send it up again. Like, the amount of conviction, even on the edge of, like, complete defeat where you're going to lose all your money and go bankrupt, he's still like, we got to figure this out and keep going. Mm-hmm. And that's the type of perseverance that people push through. But yeah, it explains the partnership with NASA, the 2-decade journey that SpaceX has trying to get that rocket up into the air, and then preserving the reusable part and landing it. Yeah. That's the coolest thing I thought of.
Dude, that's so cool to watch them just land this rocket again and again and again with such precision. And it's amazing to think about, like, that rocket's getting landed by AI technology.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it looked like a video game. Landing it on a pad like that, I'm just like, wow, this thing, it's able to fully target someplace on the ground and just land in that exact spot. And it smells smoothly, too. It wasn't like a, And I mean, how many times did they blow rockets up trying to do that too? They blew a lot up, and they show all that footage from that too. Mm-hmm. So it is really interesting.
I think one of my favorite things about the documentary was, yes, it's about Elon and the U.S. going back to space again. So it focuses heavily in the beginning about Elon. Then it focuses more on what his mission is. And his mission is more about the importance of space travel. So it focuses less on Elon. He almost, for the back half of the movie, he plays a supporting character to the story that's happening. They focus a lot more on the mission and how everything's being built and how it's being landed, not really focusing on Elon. And I loved how they really focused on the astronauts that were going to space, and Elon's really understanding the importance of, you could possibly kill these two people and they have wives and children at home. Like, that was his number one concern, was we will not do anything until we know these guys will make it up there safely. Because he really understood the gravity of the situation, which I think some people don't always really understand. They're like, well, I mean, if something happens, it happens. But it was nice to see that kind of really personal side of him.
Yeah. I when one of the reporters asked, how does it feel to know that two astronauts' lives are in your hands?
Yeah.
I'm like, what kind of question is that?
Right?
Like, honestly, like, what do you expect him to say?
Yeah, and then they're like, hey, congratulations on getting them up there, still alive. Are you concerned about getting them back down in a year and them not dying?
Yeah, just unbelievable.
And he's like, yeah, I'm not celebrating until they're back on Earth safely.
Yeah, and you get to see footage of the two astronauts getting up there, you know, their how they deal with gravity, loss of gravity, and things like that. It's very interesting. They even go through, like, how they eat, what they're allowed to do, the exercise they need, because it's entirely different world that we're not used to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do they call that, too, when you're on your way up, the force?
G-force?
G-force. So, like, little side tangent. So, when we went to Epcot,
Yes.
they had this G-force simulation.
They have this ride.
I think I lasted 45 seconds.
It is the most intense ride that Disney has, and it's already been reworked several times because of how many injuries have been sustained on this ride.
Yeah, it was
and all it
intense.
does is simulate G-force.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, but they lock you in, and there's two levels. You can do the extreme level or the regular level. And I had the regular level. I made it 45 seconds, and I thought I was going to throw up. I barely got out of that ride. I was barely holding it down. But
and you were on the easy one.
I was on the easy one. I couldn't do it. So, like, I'm definitely would never be able to handle that.
I had no problems. I
Yeah.
thought it was fun.
Yeah, I would never be able to do the whole space loss of gravity G-force
Yeah.
thing. I don't know if I'd be able to do it. I'd get sick, and then I'd probably be fine afterwards. But, like, I mean,
Oh, I thought it was so cool. But that's the thing, you can't really get sick or pass out. Like, you still have a job to do while you're experiencing that
and they wouldn't
G-force.
allow someone that probably can't
Yeah,
do it.
no, they
you know?
wouldn't let you do it.
Right. So yeah, it's super super neat though. I mean, we're looking to space civilization, and eventually, you say about 60 years.
Okay, yeah. So Cory and I were talking.
I mean, you're
And
you're
he
probably right.
says,
It's probably a lot
How
longer.
he said, how long do you think it takes us until we have people living on Mars? You said only 20 years.
Until we get, like, up there, yeah.
I said in about 60 years is when we will actively have a community of scientists, researchers, and military up there.
I think yours is more realistic.
Yeah.
I think it could blow up super super quickly, but here's another thing: is like with today's day and age, you never know. It could happen really quickly, and something happen or I think we got a lot of weird turmoil going on in the world right now that things
Yeah.
are going to be slowed down because I think we're backtracking in some ways.
I would agree with that.
So I think it may push out to be a lot longer. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's crazy, but if anyone's going to do it, it's Elon Musk.
Definitely.
So, some other news it's a long one because there's a lot of stuff going on with Elon, but Elon has been in the news for Twitter recently.
Yeah, buddy.
So basically, Elon tried to buy Twitter recently.
Uh-huh.
Basically.
Well, first he bought 9.5% of all the Twitter shares, so he became the largest shareholder of Twitter.
Yeah, he what was it? I forget how much money he spent. He spent $2.9 billion on it, right?
Yep, for 9.5% of the shares.
Yep.
He was supposed to be on the board, and then if he was on their board, he was going to become one of the board members, but then he found out that if he became a board member, it would prohibit him from buying any more shares of Twitter, and he didn't want to do that. So instead, he makes Twitter an offer, a very good offer, and says he wants to buy the whole company. Mm-hmm.
But Elon has been kind of playing around with Twitter for a while now, sending out cryptic tweets, asking about free speech and what people would like, what features they would like, all this stuff. And people have been like kind of hinting at it for a while, thinking something was going to happen. And this kind of blew up. But Twitter's had a problem with censoring people, with a lot of their leftist woke kind of policies.
Yeah.
And he's not about it because he believes that Twitter kind of acts as a public square these days.
Which they do.
And he's a huge proponent of Twitter. He likes Twitter. He likes talking on Twitter, making jokes on Twitter. He's got 83 million followers on Twitter. So I believe he really wants to see something good happen from it. But right now, it's in a space where the people controlling it don't have proper rules. There's a lot of censorship going on. The freedom of speech thing kind of doesn't exist on it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that in the last episode. How many people got freaking banned off Twitter?
Either way, he decides not to become a board member because of that, because he wouldn't be able to get any more shares, and because only so much change would have been able to have been done if he was a board member, right? So anyways, he decides that he's going to make an offer to buy Twitter, $43 billion at $54.20 a share, own 100% of the company. And he filed the offer with the SEC and then tweeted out also hours before he was on a TED Talk about it. He also has a backup plan that he's kind of being cryptic about if they don't allow him to do it, which I didn't think they would. I mean, like, why would they? Which is interesting because people who have, like, they start up a company like that, that's kind of a dream for someone, the richest person in the world, to come along and offer them
That's what
way
you want.
more value of what the company is to sell it. You know what you could do with, $40+ billion? You could do a lot of money. Start another company if you want.
Yeah.
So, but they don't take it. Instead, they come up with something called the poison pill so that Elon wouldn't be able to buy out.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see what happens with it. I'm rooting for the guy. I'm going to be honest. If he bought Twitter, I'd buy shares in Twitter.
Oh, for sure.
I'd buy shares in Twitter. I think, honestly, if for example, if it was under his ownership, I think a lot of people would be more down with Twitter.
Especially because, so when he talks about Twitter, I listened to the TED Talk he did. That happened, obviously, right after he made that offer. And he was talking about how he wants to buy Twitter not to make money. He's like, I don't care if Twitter makes money at all. That's not a priority to me. He said, my biggest priority is having free speech and transparency. If he was the owner of Twitter, that he'd make all tweets have the ability to be edited by the original person, wherever, whenever, not a big deal. He would also have everything that the algorithm does get posted on, I think he said on GitHub.
It's open source, basically.
Completely open source. And then that they would have to be extremely transparent in any time they were throttling someone's tweets. So essentially that things wouldn't be throttled anymore. So it'd be extreme free speech on the platform.
A few things to wrap up the Elon episode. He's also pretty big into crypto. I think he understands the value of blockchain Web3 technology. So he had his stint with Dogecoin in 2021. People bought it, made some people millions of dollars, even though it was Dogecoin is a meme coin, doesn't have any real utility. Later off, he did buy a Shiba Inu himself, another meme coin called Shiba Inu to pump. He's been swaying the crypto markets for a while. Not so much anymore. It heavily swung before because crypto is kind of a new thing for retail investors. But also Tesla started accepting Bitcoin and a couple other cryptocurrencies as well. Like Dogecoin is accepted in their merch shop.
Yeah.
You can buy Teslas with Bitcoin and Dogecoin. But he did end up rejecting Bitcoin for a little bit and all cryptos because the environmental concerns. After Bitcoin miners proved, I guess, I think there's a Bitcoin Miners Association that proved that they were actually not harming the environment as much as people thought they were.
Yeah.
And they were in the right direction. And apparently mining crypto generally is going in a much has a much greener future in mind with proof of stake. He has since gone back to approving the purchases of Tesla in Bitcoin. He's also apparently, I think he's on the board of Dogecoin, working on a proof of stake model with them. Something, and I don't know a whole lot about it, but he's tweeted out a bunch that he's been working with Dogecoin developers. Not sure where that's going, but yeah, he's thoroughly involved with crypto. So anytime the big things that when people talk about Elon, it's Elon, SpaceX, Tesla, and crypto. Those are the big things that people think of Elon Musk with, or a flamethrower. Closing thoughts on Elon Musk?
I like the dude. I think he's putting us in the right direction.
Yeah,
I'm here for the memes. I'm here for the funny things. I'm interested to see what he's doing in like 10 years from now.
yeah, he's actually a really funny dude. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. That is episode 8 of the Strive Nation podcast for season 3. It was a good one,
Yeah.
and we're not done for today either.
No. Take a snack break. Get some water. Get some drinks.
Yeah, we got the double feature coming, guys.
Yeah.
It's your April monthly scoop.
Woo.
So we will be right back with another episode of the Strive Nation podcast, episode 9. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Strive Nation podcast with your hosts, Cory, Estreen, and Taylor Huff.
Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Strive Nation Pod on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Join us for our next episode, and remember, when the world is upside down, Strive Nation is right side up for you guys. Have a good one.